Okay, and now let's talk about. Well, actually, we have two films to talk about, right? Well, I take it you didn't see MLK FBI, so
I did.
oh, you did? Okay, well,
Yeah. Yeah.
nice. Pat on the back, man. Well done. Because I told you to watch that shit, right? And Judas and the Black Messiah. So this is going to
Right.
be a double feature, so to speak, right? So, like I said at the beginning of the episode, I found out about this late January, right? So before Black History Month, right? I didn't know what it was about. I just saw the title. I was like, oh, okay, right? But I was hearing great things about it, so I gave it a look. I actually told you, Ricardo, check it out. And luckily for me, I saw this right before watching Judas and the Black Messiah. And I think, well, just to jump into what it's about, I think that they work so well together, right? I think that it is the perfect, like, supplementary film to watch before or after watching Judas and the Black Messiah, right? So I just keep things short as far as what MLK FBI is about, right? So it's a documentary film. It's directed by Sam Pollard.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what this film is about, it just basically explores this in detail how Martin Luther King was being investigated
Right.
by the FBI, right? Which, as we know, was led by J. Edgar Hoover, right?
Mhm.
Um, even to the point where, well, there's these declassified documents that were, released to the web some years ago, right? So they basically use that as a framework for this film here, right? Um, Different individuals, well, I should say just a few individuals are interviewed, but what they did so excellently is that you would just see the name show up at the bottom left of the screen, but you'll hear the voice. As
Right.
only in the films like Coda, basically, where you just see them being interviewed, where they are being asked a particular question, right? But a majority of the film centers on just archival footage with
Right.
MLK. It's between, I think it's from the late 50s to the time where he got assassinated, right?
Right.
And is at the same time though we just seeing just the development of the FBI, the how they became popular through TV shows and movies, and just the idea that they're just out to just keep America safe from communists and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But
Right.
really, really going that far just to track someone who they think personally will stir up some serious trouble in the United States, when in actuality not so much. Not the case. I mean, he was, compared to somebody like a Malcolm X, for example, he was not about, trying to rile
Well,
people or black people, to
okay. So here's the thing.
react violently either,
No, here's the thing. I would argue. I would argue that MLK, he was more subversive and more radical than MLK ever was, in my opinion.
or more
But
more radical than Malcolm X.
right. But
Well, just
but
person. Why I ask
okay.
this, right? Is it because of his church background,
No, no,
or
no.
he was
Well,
just able to sway people with that
no, no. In terms
preaching
of
voice?
in terms of his position, like where the end game of him was,
Uh,
I would argue that he was a lot more. I wouldn't say progressive, but more quote unquote revolutionary than Malcolm X was. Malcolm X was like the firebrand, but he wasn't like the person to really like dig deep and twist the knife in the system. Though.
Right.
Like
Oh, okay. I
right.
understand. Because yes, in the show they did mention that how
Mhm.
close he was. You know what I mean? To well, to certain aides of the president and whatnot. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like he just knew
Exactly.
people. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He was like an incredibly shrewd political actor. Like the one thing about Martin Luther King Jr. that people don't get is he's not some secular saint. Like the secular saint narrative is something that I think frankly deserves him. Like what he
Right.
really was. And I thought the Ava DuVernay film like did a good job of addressing that. Of no, he's actually a really shrewd political actor and he knew what he was doing. And
Oh yeah,
that
that
makes
that
him
that film being Selma, by the way.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And that makes him better. In my eyes, historically, like in terms of this, no, he's not some bullshit magical person. No. He works. He knew what to do. He knew how to change things and actually get shit done. No.
Yeah.
But yeah, go ahead now.
Yeah. And yeah, that well, I forgot to mention one last thing now. Also they were keeping tabs on him. They were recording, but we
Right,
see there were certain recordings involving his private sexual life, which
right,
the show itself does not go very deep into, but they do mention certain things that you know were intended to discredit him because there's a moment where they reveal that they actually leaked sorry, I shouldn't say leaked, they actually put out a recording, involving Martin in a room with someone who wasn't his wife. That's all you'll say.
Yeah, you like prostitutes. We know that.
Yeah. And where the film ends basically is that that whole information concerning that and other things will be available to the public, will be made
Right.
available to the public in 2027, right?
Right.
And where the show ends, in going back to the same interviewees who we see now, is once these things are out, how will people feel about him going forward, right?
Right.
And that's all I'll say here. So before I get to your thoughts here, Ricardo, I really, really dug this though. This is
Yeah.
one of the best documentaries I've seen for the year. And I mean, the year technically don't start, and I haven't seen that much documentaries, but this one really, really got to me. For one thing, just the use of archival footage. I'm a
Right.
huge fan of that. But just using it to just tell this really tight narrative worked for me, right? The
Yeah.
choice of music, the choice of shots alone, you know what I mean, just worked, right? Like I said before, the use of the voiceovers, right? But that stopping to show them, in some library or somewhere talking, right? But I
Right.
just love that, you're just hearing them and they're just guiding the film along. But then at the very end, when they ask that big question about when the record will be declassified in 2027, and they just you show them, you just see the reactions to that question.
Right.
Worked for me. And I just love also too how they do this compare and contrast to what MLK was doing to what the FBI was doing as well, and and just how J. Edgar Hoover, he was just really going out of his way to just try to remove communism at all costs, from the
Right.
United States, right? Yeah, to the point that you're literally, stalking and just spying on this guy here. But you really, really got a sense of why they would do this in the first place. Not just, oh, well, at the surface level, it's, oh, because he's black and, he's a revolutionary. But it goes deeper than that, though. You know what I mean? And it's not to say that the show wisely does not make you side with the FBI at all, but at the same time, you
Right.
can understand the paranoia and the fear and why they would think that way, which carries over very well, although they don't really spend too much time on it, but you get a sense of it in Judas and the Black Messiah.
Right.
But yeah, though, as a documentary, the way how it's put together, it worked for me. I'm not gonna say that this was, the most unique one I've seen in terms of its structure,
Right.
but I thought that the structure itself worked perfectly in terms of what the show is going for. And yeah, just really digging in deep into the impact that MLK had in the United States at the time, the impact of the FBI, at that time as well too, and just how these conflicted views, we call led to his unfortunate assassination, right? So, yeah. Any thoughts on MLK FBI?
Yeah, I dug this. I'll say I didn't learn anything brand new in this documentary, to be frank. I
Yeah, okay, you
am
know everything, right?
well, I mean, well,
That's good. That's good.
yeah. But you're right. Yeah, this I didn't see it. I didn't learn anything brand new with this one, but it was still pretty good, well executed. Great story, great narrative, and it sets up again what to me when you humanize MLK, because people try to act as if, well, because we have this kind of weird culture of, oh, well, we need to shame somebody because they like this, that, and the other. But it's like, in the end of the day, he was still fighting for, like, people's rights and, getting out of fucking Vietnam and all of that, right? And in my opinion, this kind of stuff does make him better in my eyes, personally, right? He doesn't need to be this bullshit, imaginary, secular saint, right? What he needs to be is a person who is fighting for rights. I don't really care if he did like some prostitute or you cheat on your wife. We could talk about that later. Not a perfect person. Who cares? Point is, he's getting some shit done. That's the most important part. And you gotta accept that as it is. But yeah, I love this documentary. I thought it was really well made. It does the, as I say, the voiceover stuff, interview style, but it works in its own way. And it's surprising that we got this much out of a documentary when that information came out recently. I really like the editing as well. So yeah, I
Yeah,
really,
yeah. The editing for this was fantastic in my
Mhm.
opinion. Yeah.
Yeah.
And well, before we get to read it though, this is actually I believe on the Oscar shortlist. So
Right.
hopefully this could actually get a nomination for best documentary feature. And
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
I'll be definitely on board with that. Not to say that I not say that it should win because I honestly don't know what the other nominees are, but I saw this one film here. I was like, would. But yeah, go on.
Right. Yeah. As I say, it's just well done, well made. Um, just it gets into the classic stories about how, well, you need to do this for this reason, and you get to see the justification behind behavior, like, because the whole destroying communism thing is like, well, yeah, it's pretty clear that Martin Luther King was effectively a communist, or I'll say outright communist, but socialist, and he clearly, catered to communists, the wife especially, right? By Rustin and all these people, right? And I really, really like that they address that. Like, look, that is the argument. You don't have to hide that or try to whitewash that or clean that up with history.
Yeah.
That is it. I mean, I like that they did a good job with that, as it is. But we probably have more talk about that with the next movie.
Yeah.
Ratings, not to, just again the ratings quick. But not much to talk about as a documentary per se, because as I say, I didn't learn anything new or it had anything that was mind blowing in it. Still a 8 out of 10. Really well done. A bit rote. We've seen a lot of this approach before, but still very good.
All right. Well, for me, strong 4 to a very light 4.5 out of 5, man. I think that this is a very well made, very insightful, very thought provoking documentary as well. I really love the fact that it's not like, oh, well, we're going to show you the real MLK, but no, it's just that, yeah, sometimes the heroes and these pitch perfect individuals as well too. They have flaws about them, but at the end of the day, what matters, what they did and what they managed to do, and the impact they left behind, or the deep shady stuff that unfortunately the FBI were they used to discredit him, right? So that's what the film addresses perfectly, in my opinion. And I mean, I thoroughly dug this. I'd highly recommend you check it out, especially if you're interested in terms of American history, especially with the civil rights stuff. I think that it is an absolute must see. And as I said before, this is like the perfect supplementary film to watch either before or after Judas and the Black Messiah, because it kind of feeds into, well, here, as you mentioned, in the documentary itself, talk about the Black Panthers, right? So, well, Ricardo, I want you to do the synopsis for this, right? But before we begin, saw the trailer for this late last year. This was before the whole HBO Max, Warner Brothers simultaneous release thing, but moment I saw the trailer, I was hooked, bro. I was excited for this. It was one of the most tense trailers I've seen in quite some time. Very well shot, very well edited and whatnot. But I'll bring back up the trailer in my review for this though. But when I saw it, I was excited as hell for this. And, I was surprised that we were getting this film relatively early in 2021 though. But yeah, I mean, it came out literally yesterday time it was recorded. Of course, we checked it out as it came out on HBO Max. So yeah, Ricardo, take it away. What was Judas and the Black Messiah about?
Right. So this is about a guy called William O'Neill. He get into some crime troubles involving stolen cars and a kind of a very clever racket involving that. And basically, he was asked by the FBI. I forget what Jesse Plummer's character's name was, but
his name was Roy Mitchell.
Roy Mitchell, right? And he basically asked him to infiltrate the Chicago chapter. I forget which chapter, but the Chicago chapter of the Black Panther Party.
Yeah, it's in Chicago. It's Chicago, yeah.
Right. But I forget which part of Chicago. I don't think it was like the only part, but whatever.
No, they just say they emphasize on Illinois, but they just say Chicago basically, right? So Chicago chapter, right? Right.
And that part of the story is basically the implication of just to get close to Fred Hampton and be basically an informant, right? A paid informant for the FBI, and they get into this narrative about you have to get to Fred Hampton. Fred Hampton is at the beginning the vice chairman and then the vice chairman and then chairman of the Illinois chapter of the Black Panther Party, and just the exploits, the approaches, how to think about the world and what Fred Hampton was planning going forward. And that's it. It's just this interesting crime drama undercover cop story from the perspective of William O'Neill, which is a true story. I was completely ignorant of this narrative. I did not know this was a thing. Like this, I didn't know.
Neither me.
I don't know the nature. I don't know the nature of the story. And then they talk about this documentary that was they mostly referenced. And I was like, oh wow.
Isn't the Agnes Vada documentary? I know she did something on the Black Panthers.
I can't remember what it was, but it was a documentary that was premiered in 1990 because that was the end of the movie, right? They talk about The
Oh,
edited movie.
okay, okay. No,
Right.
that was a TV special actually. Right.
Okay, okay, right, right,
Yeah.
right. And yeah,
PBS special. Yeah.
right, the PBS special, right. And yeah, I thought this was great. Everybody was good in this. Everybody was good in this.
I
Um,
right.
I mean,
Daniel Kaluuya, like
Kaluuya was
I
good in
know
this.
he has been nominated for an Oscar before, but if this man don't
Right.
get a nom for this dread,
Something, Joe.
I
Because I know this movie get a little I know what you call it. Your movie with oh gosh, the Five Bloods,
oh
Delroy
yeah,
Lindo.
it did get nominated for the
I hear you get yeah, he
the
get a
Golden
little
Globes
snub.
and people got pissed off. Oh yeah, and even oh gosh, I May Destroy You again nominated for anything, dread. Like
Right.
what was that? What's up with that, man? What's up with
You
that?
know? Right, I hear you get a little destroyed. This had to get something, hopefully. Daniel Kaluuya was great in this. Ting was good in this. Lakeith Stanfield as William O'Neill. Holy shit.
Yeah. He
He
has
was
to get a nom for this, though.
he
But I'll
was
talk about
you
him
know what
later.
like yeah, what I like about him is how they just manage the whole cravenness of the whole of his nature and like what he was about and why he was the way he was. I thought it was absolutely brilliant what they did with him. Your girl from Project Power. She was good in
Yes, I didn't know she was in this, though. She
yeah,
was great.
she was
I love that they gave her enough time because basically she plays the love interest and eventual wife um of Fred Hampton, yeah,
Fred yeah, yeah.
and it would, yeah.
Yeah. And then you know who was shocking in this? A third man from Get Out. Oh shit, what's his man name? What do you call
Oh, Lil Rel Howery.
it? You
I'm
know,
gonna talk about him. I'm
he
gonna
played
talk about him.
this he
I had to
played
mention
this
something about here, but go ahead.
yeah. He played a shockingly dark character in the storyline. I was like, what the hell is real hard though? It was a great like undercover story. It had so many great moments. Like that moment in the car where they call him out for having a quote unquote badge. And
Yes.
they just started questioning him about the car and where he get it from and how he hot rod it and blah blah blah, blah and all
Yeah.
that bullshit.
And you would think something like this would have show up halfway into the show,
Nah.
or to
Oh,
that. No,
yeah,
no, 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 no. Not even halfway into the movie. It's like,
yeah.
wait, what going on? Let me
You know?
check you out. Yeah, I
Yeah,
love
yeah,
that.
yeah. Little things like that. And it was just a great character piece. The end why it worked as well is that they didn't hype up Fred Hampton as this big larger than life figure. It really
Yeah,
humanized like it does a great job of humanizing Fred Hampton, making it work in that sense of how to he's a person in the end of the day. He's nervous, he's surprisingly shy. They had a lot of great moments in that. And yeah, ultimately I absolutely love this show. Great, 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 great show as it is.
all right. Well, okay. So just jumping into my thoughts one time, right? I will say that the trailer is a little it may be misleading to some people, right? Because you
Right.
might go in expecting this thing to be this full tilt thriller, something really dark and tense and all that. And I would say, yes, this is one of the most tense biopics I've seen in quite some time, though. But for different reasons. It's just mainly because of the dramatic weight of what's going on, right? So if you go in expecting this thing to be with tons of action and whatnot,
Right.
because the trailer may give you that hint, or it's gonna be something so it's gonna make your heart pound, me repeatedly. Like no, it's not that, right? You'll have your quiet moments, you'll have your nice moments of character development and whatnot. It tells its story, but it's not about you know, this tense, like like this suspense film, right? Even though yes, there are genuine moments of tension in the film, right? But yeah, I would say that I would say personally to those going in blind to this, yeah, kind of keep your expectations a little low. Just don't go in expecting this thing to be the most amazing thing ever. But for what it's worth, though, for what we got from Shaka King, though, I
Yeah.
was thoroughly impressed by this guy knocked it out of the park with this one, but I will not lie. It's not perfect though. I will
Right.
say as far as just minor gripes though. Pacing could be a little slow, little slow at times, just in a few scenes, and also totally. Once again, just going back to the trailer, you will get like a moment of action, or you might get a moment of drama, you get a moment of pure tension, right? And sometimes you could just kind of they just kind of stick out like those moments there. So don't go in expecting this to be a thriller, pure full stop, right? Or a drama. pure full stop, right? It's kind of a mixture of the two, right? And it's also a biographical film as well too. So you have to go in expecting all three, right? But what this film deals so well, in my opinion, though, is that you really get a sense of how both sides, as in the Black Panthers and the FBI treated this whole thing like a war, right? And yeah, in a war, people have conflicted views. I mean, even within their own camp, right? So I
Yeah.
love what he did with Jesse Plemons' character as Roy Mitchell, right? Because yeah, he in his head is like, well, to him, the Black Panthers is equivalent of the Ku Klux Klan, right?
Right.
He's not like singling him out and saying singling himself out and saying, well, every white man is perfect. I mean, compared to these guys, compared to these radical black men here. But no, he compares it to the KKK, and I thought that was like a brilliant little moment there, right? So in his head, it's just like, well, no, we need to stop these guys because what they believe is wrong, or they may come with good intentions, but is that exactly what the Klan did? And look at how they were able to brainwash people, and look at all the violence and stuff that took place, especially towards black people, right? But I also love too is how you see how the higher ups themselves, right? Maybe intentionally or maybe unintentionally, sway him now to go along with what they believe now, which is essentially, yeah, the Black Panthers had a goal, period, and this is what we're gonna do here. And I love how, even though they don't see it blatantly, but they did mention it in the MLK documentary, where they were allowed to get informants to go
Right.
to work their way into the group, and basically, if they have to use violence now to stop them, yeah, they have the legal right to do that, right? So yeah, I mean, it's just how they're like, well, yeah, this is what we have to do, and they just keep pushing Roy to the point where, yeah, and it's like this domino effect there. So like the FBI to Roy, and now Roy now is doing the same thing to Bill, right, played by Lakeith Stanfield, where it's like, look, we need these things, and it's like, look, don't worry, Jim, we need to stamp them out. Don't worry, you're gonna be compensated. Don't worry, Jim. At the same time, it's like, yeah, we're gonna bomb rush and kill these guys, which unfortunately is what happened, right? Speaking of Lakeith Stanfield, though, I thought that he was fan freaking tastic in this trend.
Yeah.
What I love, though,
Well,
is
yeah.
that you got the fear that was going on with him. Like, it's not like,
Yes.
yeah, just doing this because I want to get
Well,
paid, right?
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got a sense of, dude, I look, where you really put him in, where you put him in, really, Dread. But you just see him just going in too deep, Dread, to the point where, yeah, you know what I mean. Well, kind of obvious. He agrees with what Fred is saying and whatnot, right? But what I love in terms of Fred's character and whatnot, yes, he's telling his comrades to stand up and fight all that kind of stuff, right? And that's where I love seeing my boy Ashton Sanders show up in this, right? He plays Jimmy
Yeah.
Palmer, and he's like buying into this thing so much. There's a moment where it's like, oh, these cops taking advantage of this black man. Yeah, let me pull out my gun and do some shit, and you see where that takes him, right? So yeah, at the end of the day, what I really love the most about the show is just how is these different views on the this problem, right? Civil rights. You have one side who thinking, yeah, you know what I mean, if we let these black people rise, it's gonna disrupt the foundation of what makes America America, right? And
Right.
there's this really unsettling moment involving Martin Sheen, who plays J.
Yeah.
Edgar Hoover, and makeup wise, look wise, he nails it in my
It look.
opinion,
Yeah. It
Jared.
look good. Yeah. Yeah.
There's a moment where he talking to Roy and saying, "Will you?" He mentioned he killed his daughter and saying, "Would you like your daughter to be with a Negro?" Jared, and it's just so
Yeah.
unsettling, Jared. But you can understand why he would say, or why he would think, "Oh, this is my reason why you should stop it," or "This is why I should tell my my officer this is what you should do," right? And you see the conflict with Roy as well, and why he eventually kind of turns crooked near the end. Though I love how they did that. At first, I was like, yeah, he kind of switched real quick though, but the more I thought about it, it's like, no, his superiors pushed him on though. And then even worse with Bill and just the conflict this man going through. Like, should I really stick with these guys, even though I know full well they could lead someone to get killed or kill other people or get killed in the process, you know what I mean? And then of course Fred, who just wants to see his people rise and all that stuff. I love how they just kind of have him not just be this uber Superman character, but also a human as well too. I just love
Yeah.
how they incorporated him meeting his wife for the first time and all that kind of stuff, and humanized him as well too. Like he wants to do right by his people, right? But it's not all the time he could help, see it. It's like he's like, he wants to spur them on them. At the same time, he can't like automatically tell everybody what to do or tell them where to go and whatnot. That's what I love with the Action Sanders character, where it's like, oh, you tell me to go and fight. Well, all right, I got to fight in my own way, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, go on.
No, yeah, yeah. Right. You mentioned Action Sanders' character. That is one thing I couldn't really follow. Like, why does he decide to just attack police officers?
Yeah.
Just so that didn't really make sense to me. I couldn't follow
Uh,
that.
well, okay, well, maybe they could have, they honestly, they could have fleshed him out a little bit, that, because yeah, he's a side character, but how I saw it was just, he just listened to what his man say, he really, really went in deep with it, and just say, oh, well, basically tell him, hey, pull out a gun and shoot a cop, because I have to defend my black brethren, right? And
Right.
that's why he do what he do.
Yeah.
So I love that. And you even see with another guy who shows up later on, who well, his friend was killed. So it's like, yeah, you see him literally seeking revenge against a bunch of cops too. And that's what I say, where, like moments will feel like, some tense thriller, but then you'll go to drama. And then, it's a little off at times, but yeah, it really shows
Right.
just how influential Fred's words were, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
There's also a moment involving George Sams, right? Which I had to do research on this later. Okay, I honestly thought he will forget about it, right? Where yeah, he essentially he killed well, he was from another chapter, right? I think it's the New York chapter, and he killed a Black
Yeah.
Panther
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
member as well. Like there was this controversial moment. So I love how they incorporate that too, because it shows that yeah, even the Black Panthers themselves aren't picture perfect as well.
Yeah.
And not just because they toted guns, but it's their rules and all that kind of stuff. And that's the moment, just the mere fact that okay, so how the film frames is that, oh, well, the guy was an informant, and that just scares Bill even more, right? But I love that they just kind of leave it out in the open, so maybe he was an informant, maybe he wasn't, right? The FBI say that he was an informant, but
Right.
maybe he wasn't too. Maybe they just see that to kind of cheat up Roy's head. Who
Yeah.
knows, right? But it's just, once again, it's about watch, and it's just about, just knowing what to see and how to just move certain pieces together to exact your victory. Jedi. I just love that about the show. Um, so yeah, characterization was great, acting was great. Lakeith killed it as well, but Daniel do, and I
Yeah.
love also that the show isn't saying that this is Daniel's show. This is a Fred Hampton show, even though at times yeah you do get a bit about his life story and all that, right?
Right.
But it's about Bill. It's about him involved in this group and his conflict, this moral conflict and all that kind of stuff, and now it eventually comes and bites him in the ass, basically, right? As far as Lil Ray Horry goes, right? Now, I will admit, though, I felt like they just kind of had him be in the show because he's Daniel Boy and they wasn't
Right.
get out together.
Right.
So, because I was watching the film, I was like, well, all right, Lil Ray in this, I know, sorry, Lil Rel in it. I'm looking out for him. Where is he? But it's how he comes into the
Yeah.
story, and
That
it
gets me
ties
good.
back to something that happens early on in the film. That's all you'll
Yeah.
see. I
Yeah.
was like, this is brilliant, shit. And
Yeah.
yeah, the
That
way
gets
how he plays him as this funny, but yeah, he's still this morally dark character. Worked for
right.
me. Perfect casting, perfect moment. No, it caught me completely by surprise. At first, I was like, oh, this is just a scene in a shoehorn
Yeah.
because he's the boy, he's Daniel boy. It's like, no, 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 no. All we'll just say without spoiler is that it shows how black people look at informants in general. Like it's
Right.
a thing back then, and it's technically the same thing now. But you can understand why people will look at informants and be like, "Nah, fuck y'all." You know what I mean? So
Right.
it works there. Yeah, the side characters were great as well, though. But what I really also love about the show too is that it pieces itself very well. It doesn't stay too long at certain moments. Like you'll get
Right.
enough for you to understand. Like the moments with Fred and his wife and all that kind of stuff. You get enough. You get enough. It's not too much though. And props to Dominique Fishback, right? Who we
Right.
praised in Project Power. We delivered a great performance here as Deborah Johnson, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, though, at the end of the day, though, this is the Keats film, and what I love though is that you see the fear in his face and just the way how he moves every time that. So it's not like the show has to give you this big moment where he has to deliver a monologue and say how he's feeling, and it has to be so theatric. You just get it in the way how he looks at the situation, how he moves, how he reacts to everything. Man, scared shitless, but you know that he's just in too deep. He feels like he has to
Yeah.
do this for a purpose,
One
but
one
it's
thing.
just like, dude,
Quick
I
question.
really don't
They
know
were
if I
supposed
should do
to.
this right.
Yeah, quick question. They were supposed to do this had a different name, right?
What do you mean, the film itself?
Yeah, it was Jesus was my homeboy or something like that. Or the title different.
Uh, that is a interesting name, but from what I read here, the wiki page, no, actually, I don't think. Oh, right, Jesus was my homeboy.
Right.
That would have been a very 90s title, like a Boys in the Hood kind of thing, you know.
Right.
And it would have been even more ironic too. And speaking of the title, though, I thought that this title here makes perfect sense. So
Better, yeah, it's
because
a better title.
yeah, boy. Like especially when they reveal with Bill at the end, though, it's
Yeah.
like yeah, literal Judas shit, literal Judas shit. I was so shocked at that shit.
Well,
Wow.
that's another small thing I had with the film too. I felt they could have showed that with a flash forward, but I understand why they end the film where they did. But if it was up to me, I'd make the effort to show that. Whatever.
Yeah, right. So yeah, this is a film that truly impressed me though. And this is one that I imagine will get better with more viewings that I give this to. The
Yeah.
acting is top notch from top to bottom though. Daniel and Lakeith need to get Oscar nominations for sure. I'd be very disappointed if either one of them don't get any. I think Lakeith out of anyone else should be nominated as well, man. Because yeah, he came through with a really solid performance here. I mean, Daniel was great, but I think Lakeith is like the MVP of this show, because technically it's about him and just seeing this world through his eyes. It has a very, as I say, crime drama feel to it. So take like The Departed, right? That's like the perfect example. The whole informant
Yeah.
inside this group thing
Yeah.
and trust and all that kind of stuff. It has a feel to it. Even right now to the choices of music as well, too, which I thought was some great choices of music, I must say, but not too much. But it works, right? Um, Still a little rough around the edges, like it's not perfect and whatnot, but I
Right.
thoroughly dug the direction, performances, of course the cinematography, the way how it looks and how it's shot and whatnot, and just the topics, right? Because yeah, they are very timely, they are very relevant as well. Don't think that it's a period piece and this has nothing to do with what has happened last year and prior to that, with Black Lives Matter. No, it's
Right.
very real, especially with the last bit of information that we get at the end. No, this shit is very real to this day, right? I personally would have loved to see this on big screen. Though I would have walked out not disappointed at all.
Right. Yeah. Me
But
too.
I
Yeah.
just repeated before I get to rate it. Just don't go in with your expectations too high. Don't go in expecting this thing to be this nail biting thriller or this powerful drama, right? It kind of blends the two, but it has this piece of because it's a biography as well too, and how it just it really did happen. It just makes things even more engaging and just ultimately tragic, right? So rating wise, I'm gonna go with a strong 4 out of 5, man. This is a great film. And yeah, once again, I'm feeling with more viewings. I'll bump it up a little bit more, maybe to a 4.5 out of 5. But I would love to see this. I hope that it at least shows up in like in my top 10 favorite for the year as far. But yeah, you know what I mean. As far as just last year, I was saying, as far as Warner Brothers go, they make a L. They had a L with the little things, right? But nah, this is a W. This is a
Yeah.
serious W. I would love to see this get some Oscar noms, especially with the two leads themselves. But yeah, this movie is the real deal. It lived up to my expectations. And yeah, I mean, not much more I could say, dude. This movie was damn impressive, man. So yeah,
Yeah.
last what's a rating on Judas the Black Messiah?
Yeah. I give this a pretty high score for as well. 8 out of 10. I just I would more thinking about it. The only issue I had with it was the whole they could have showed the ending kind of thing, like instead of just showing us. I felt it
Oh,
really
okay, I
see that.
understand, yeah.
Yeah, that's
But
it.
I just think it's just showing the text too. I think it hits you
Right.
just as hard, right? But
Right.
yeah, you
I
could
felt
have
we could have
seen,
see that.
yeah,
Yeah.
see a lash on the Lakit or something. Yeah,
Right. Yeah, that's about it.
yeah. All right, but yeah, folks, Judas the Black Messiah is the real deal. Go see this as soon as you can, and just as a recommendation, but a stronger recommendation, do check out MLK FBI. I mean, like I feel like both films really work, in tandem to each other, in my opinion. So yeah, by all means, definitely check both films out.